Lesson 112, Applications of the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, one more time I need you guys to say Pythagorean Theorem.
Pythagorean Theorem.
Okay, now I want you to pay very close attention when you say Pythagorean that you're ending with an N, not an M. So don't close your lips together when you say Pythagorean Theorem. Try it again.
Pythagorean
Theorem. Okay, excellent. Okay, one thing to remember about the Pythagorean Theorem, ends in an N, Pythagorean Theorem, is it only works with right triangles. Only works with right triangles. Every year, inevitably, I have students trying to use the Pythagorean Theorem on triangles that are not right triangles. And it won't. It just won't work. So if you remember, the legs are the two sides that form a right angle. And if we take the length of the leg and square it, add it to the length of the other leg and square it, it equals the hypotenuse squared. Yes, Haley.
Isn't the Pythagorean theorem used to find out if the triangle is right?
You can use, yes, you can plug in the numbers and see if you have a right triangle. So if it doesn't work in the Pythagorean theorem, then it won't be a right triangle. Yeah, you can do that. Sometimes you see it written as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's really important when you're plugging in values to know which ones are the legs, which ones are the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. It's the side that does not touch the right angle at all. It's straight across from the right angle, and it's not perpendicular with any other side. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to see if a triangle is a right triangle. So here's an example. Is the triangle formed by sides 5, 12, and 13 a right triangle? So the longest side, 13, would be the hypotenuse. So we use the formula, the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and our c will be 13. So we want to know, does 5 squared plus 12 squared equal 13 squared? That's what we're looking for. A little question mark there. Does this work? So we have 25 plus 144. Does that equal 169? When we add 25 and 144, we get 169 equals 169. So yes, it is a right triangle. Okay, if you notice all three of these numbers, 5, 12, 13, they have their whole numbers. This particular right triangle is called a Pythagorean triple. So a Pythagorean triple has all three sides are whole number, and it is a right triangle. So all three sides have whole number lengths. So here's an example. 3, 4, 5. If I do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and I want to know, is this a Pythagorean triple? So in other words, is it a right triangle? And since they're all three whole numbers, does that make it a triple? So we have to find out, is 3 squared plus 4 squared equal to 5 squared? So we have 9 plus 16, does that equal 25? Sure enough, it does. So 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple. So we have found some triples. We found two so far. We have a 3, 4, 5. We found 5, 12, 13 in our example previous. If you multiply all three numbers by the same number, so let's say we doubled each of these numbers, 6, 8, 10. That's also a Pythagorean triple. Or we could times these by 10, a 30, 40, 50. That's also a triple. So if you take a multiple of a Pythagorean triple, it will also be a triple, but you have to multiply each number by the same number. Okay, that's the end of that lesson.